Hi there, hatchlings! My name is Lagatha Scarlet, and this is my Pagan Ponders 101 audition. So to get started, the first question is, what is my magical name, and does it have any special meaning? The magical name that I currently use is the same as my username for the Hatchling clan and for Unicoven, Lagatha Scarlet. My name came from two characters that I like in popular culture. The first is Lagatha. She is a character on Vikings, but she is also a figure from Norse mythology. In Norse mythology, Lagatha made her suitor fight her pet guard bear, and to me that was pretty badass. Scarlet comes from a character from an anime called Fairy Tail. The character is Urza Scarlet, and the reason that character resonates with me is because in the anime Fairy Tail, the wizards have magical power, sort of like an energy type meter. And Urza Scarlet is a character who says that if she runs out of magical power when she's doing something, she just borrows more from tomorrow. And I think that is a really profound thing because it just exemplifies the fact that we are all capable of much more than we think we are. The next question is, what do I practice and how long have I practiced and what do I consider myself most skilled at? I sort of stumbled across magic and witchcraft probably around the ages of 12 or 13. But for as long as I can remember, I've been interested in what you would call world religions or spirituality. So I've kind of been in the spiritual world researching and reading about things for probably about 14 or 15 years at least, starting from a really young age. I consider myself most proficient at things like inner realms. I'm really into how your mind can affect your reality, and I actually came to the point where I openly identified as an eclectic witch when I rediscovered magic when I was studying psychology. I was studying how your mind can change your perception of events, and that led me back to witchcraft and a magical path. Do I want to be a regular host, sub, or either, and why do I wish to host? I really like the thought of being a regular host. However, if the decision came down to me being a regular host or nothing, then I am super thrilled to be a sub. I would like to be involved in Pagan Ponders because I think that I am pretty good at explaining things. And I used to tutor, which, while that seems unrelated to witchcraft, magic, and videos, actually helps me if I'm talking about an educational topic or something I've read or trying to teach someone something. I think that I'm really good at explaining that and getting certain messages across. I want to be part of Pagan Ponders because I just love any opportunity to contribute to collaborative activities. Either that stem from Unicoven or the Hatchling clan or collaborative projects from the friends that I've made in those communities. I don't have any social media channels right now that I try to actively promote, so I really like the idea of making videos. I think video editing is a blast, but I really don't have any desire to maintain my own individual social media presence. So I really like the thought of being part of Pagan Ponders because it lets me engage in those activities and contribute to a project without worrying about promoting my own self in social media. What software do I use? And this is a really long question, so, what software do I use? Do I have experience doing so? Do I know how to make thumbnails? What am I willing to learn? And have I created blog posts in Amino before? So those are a lot of parts to that question. I use an app called Video Leap through my phone and through my iPad. I've used iMovie in the past, but I find that Video Leap is packed with a lot more features and can help my video editing get a little bit more advanced. In full disclosure, I don't have a ton of experience doing video editing. My editing skills are pretty basic. I can import images, make the backgrounds of pictures transparent so they import better. I can make text happen. I'm experimenting with green screens. I can add audio. So I'm not really sure what else I would be expected to do, but I do know how to cut in audio and cut in footage from other videos. I am pretty sure I know how to make thumbnails. If you upload something to YouTube, I know it gives you that option of sliding the little bar so you can pick what comes up and it's not like you yawning or your mouth hanging open. And I also will create my own little title images, and I'll either stick my own little image at the beginning of the video and then make sure that, you know, anything on YouTube or video editing software shows that first when you see the thumbnail. Or I will put text or edit the beginning of the video itself. So I think if that's what a thumbnail is, then I know how to make one. If that's not what a thumbnail is, I will Google the ever-living crap out of it until I understand how to accomplish that. And I have created blog posts on Amino. I've also created blog posts where I've embedded videos before, other than the one that I'm going to put this video on. I made a magical marketplace review, and I've done a what's your tag video, but I can't remember if I actually wrote a blog post for that. And I also have an altar tour video series that I have not put in a blog, but I intend to put in a blog tonight so that this isn't the only video of mine that you all can look at. Why do I believe I should be selected? I think I should be selected because I'm enthusiastic. I know everyone's enthusiastic, but I'm also enthusiastic, and I feel like that is a fair point to bring out. Like I said, I have some tutoring experience, so if we're talking about things that involve information we want to convey or techniques we want to show people, I think that I'm pretty good at reaching different learning styles and making that come across. What is my greatest strength and my biggest weakness? So I'm going to try not to be one of those people that gives a weakness that's actually a strength like you would in a job interview. I think one of my biggest strengths is I consider myself good at meeting deadlines. And I think that meeting deadlines and following through with commitments is extremely important if you're working on a collaborative project like this, especially if it's digital and people are collaborating long distance. Because, you know, we don't see each other in person. It's really easy to ghost and just disappear and, you know, not to respond to people if you get embarrassed and, you know, can't meet a deadline. So one, I have very little shame about that kind of thing. So if something happens and I'm not going to be able to follow through with a commitment, I consider myself pretty good at announcing that early on, so that it doesn't, so it can reduce the negative impact that might have on other people. And I think I'm pretty good at meeting deadlines in the first place. And like I said, I think that's super important when you have this many cooks in the kitchen on a project this great. My biggest weakness is that I can overcommit. So I'm kind of hesitant to say that because I don't want you to think, well, if your biggest weakness is overcommitting, then why are you trying to commit to something else? Because I'm getting much better at that. So one of my biggest weaknesses is that I can overcommit to projects. However, I'm trying to be really good about that and will endeavor to not screw that up if I get involved in this. One way I try to work with that is to make sure that when I commit to something, I know the deadlines that are involved so I can help schedule that into my personal life. Another weakness of mine is sometimes my job. I work in an office type job, but sometimes my job hijacks my personal time and I have to do things really unexpectedly, like travel out of town or work after hours. However, I've been in the Hatchling clan since the fall, and the only real time that has affected me is recently, and that shouldn't continue to affect me because I have gotten rid of those tasks that have been leaching into my life. What is a special quality that sets me apart? I am really slow to anger, and I think that that's a good quality. I can see multiple viewpoints in a perspective, so I think that I'm really good at handling conflict, and I'm adept at handling what kinds of topics people might consider taboo or inflammatory, topics that make people irritated. I think that I can do a good job talking about those in a way that tries to ease people into an open-minded kind of state when they're receiving the information. And I like people. Like, I'm not real social, but I ultimately think that, most people are good, and that when people do bad things or hurt other people, it's just really a sign of inner pain. And because of that, I think that I work well with others because I can kind of understand where people are coming from. Now, sometimes people just need to sit themselves down and stop saying things, and I will also politely and with love inform folks of that too. So that's my conflict resolution side of myself that I think is helpful. Am I willing to discuss controversial and taboo topics? Yes. I sort of feel like I just covered that, but I don't want to sort of skip a question. So yes, I am willing to cover those topics. I won't blindly cover a taboo topic I disagree with. However, I think that even if a topic is taboo, and even if a practice is something that I might not personally do, I am willing to do a video about it, because I think that if it's a type of practice like cursing, I don't really curse, but I think that is a valid magical practice for lots of people. I don't think I'm like better or full of more love and light because I don't. It's just not something I do. But I'm totally willing to do videos about it, and I think that giving a video about a topic that I might not personally agree with could really be an informational thing, because it might help people who also disagree with it be open-minded. And what is something I wish for you all to know prior to casting host for Pagan Ponders? The big thing I want you all to know is that I just want to be involved. I like the thought of being able to help as much as possible and contribute as much content as I can. So I like the thought of being a regular host because that kind of gives me an outlet for contributing. However, as with all things that I want to be involved with in the Hatchling clan and Unicoven, ultimately I want what's best for the project, and I really mean that. So if there's tons of enthusiastic folks that are better at things, then I'm totally not offended if y'all are like, oh no, just kind of make this one video because someone that's better at it is busy. It doesn't bother me. Also, if I don't get picked at all, I will not take it personally or throw a tantrum, and I think that is a valuable quality. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If I have any other videos by the time I create this, I will surely link it. And if not, then take my word for it that I will be super fun to work with.